This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
FM 89.9 KMOJ, Walter Q. Bear Banks Jr. got you on the afternoon drive, no question about it, and letting you know that little moments count. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for it, and letting you know that this episode of Little Moments Count, in partnership in KMOJ Radio, what Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focusing on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years of one's life. Now, nearly 80% of the brain growth happens between the first 1,000 days of a small moments of interaction. We're talking playing, we're talking reading, singing as well. And also just letting you know that it deals with the brain side of it, of that growth that says, yes, I can do it. And if you like more information, you can visit littlemomentscount.org. But this afternoon, we're talking to Angela Moore Smith. I'd like to say welcome to KMOJ Studios, and how are you doing today?
Great. Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
No doubt. For the listening audience, I know that you're working with, when it comes to the public affairs and outreach coordinator, when it comes to Wilder African American Babies Coalition. Can you give us a little bit about what you do over that way, and then we'll jump right into it?
Definitely. Again, my name is Angela Moore Smith, and my role is public affairs and outreach over here at the Wilder African American Babies Coalition. And we provide education and training, as well as events and resources for our community. And we're really all about building capacity of healthcare systems in the state of Minnesota. So we provide culturally sensitive training for healthcare providers, community folks, and people in the state of Minnesota to better provide care for Black and Brown families, which we're all about that here at the ABC.
Now, can you give us a little bit when it comes to the role of African American Babies Coalition and how this works with helping to preventing the achievement gap, because there's a big gap that lacks in between there, and when we're talking about the little ones?
Yes. In regards to healthy brain development, we believe we help with pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy and post-pregnancy, but it doesn't just stop there. It doesn't stop after the mother gives birth. We have to make sure we're supporting families through pregnancy, after, and beyond. Over here at Wilder Foundation, we're all about whole families and supporting families throughout their whole lives. So we know, and one of the projects I'm directly involved in is our Raw Children's Library, and that is a library over at Wilder Child Development Center, Benjamin E. Mays, Maxfield, and St. Paul City Schools. And it's a library for our little folks, our toddlers, our pre-K, and our kindergarten students. And it's to promote early literacy, diversity in literature, and nighttime bonding with parents and children and their caregivers. Because it doesn't just stop when a mother has their child. We have to be able to support families and their young ones all the way through.
Now, what exactly, again, does RAW stand for, that RAW, when we're talking about Children's Library?
Yes, good question. RAW Library stands for Reading, Arithmetic, and Writing. And that's what we're all about, exposing children between the ages of 0 to 5, which is one of the most critical years of a child's life. Our beautiful partnership with St. Paul Promise Neighborhood and Dr. Atika Tyner. Shout out to Dr. Tyner from Planting People Growing Justice Institute. We really focus on teaching kids that literacy component, as well as the books that are in our Raw Children's Library over at those 4 schools. They teach about reading, they teach about arithmetic, they teach about writing, and that's really an amazing exposure for children between the ages of 0 to 5.
Now, we're looking at also the Minnesota Department of Labor on promoting and educating mothers on the Women's Economic Security Act, and it's called a WESA. So can you give us a little bit about that work and what it's all about? What's going down with it?
Yes, our partnership with the Minnesota Department of Labor and WESA, like you said, which stands for Women's Economic Security Act, we provide education and training to community members, that's families, people who work directly in direct service with families on really understanding what the Women's Economic Security Act covers and educating families as well as mothers on their rights in the workplace. We're learning that a lot of folks don't know much about the Women's Economic Security Act and know that they are protected under law to have protections while they're working, while they're pregnant, during pregnancy, and after pregnancy. And some of those things that protect them are things related to being pregnant at work. When you're pregnant at work, you have rights to a certain accommodation. So let's say a woman, she needs frequent restroom breaks. She needs to take breaks eating. She needs like accommodating seating. Maybe I need to put my feet up to take the weight off of carrying. Let's say I can't lift more than 20 pounds. Things like that, you are covered in the Women's Economic Security Act. It is your right. You don't need a doctor's note. You shouldn't be getting a runaround about it. Now, there are employers who they offer great support with helping their pregnant employees. But there are employers who, we've had feedback from our focus groups and our interactions with the public where I don't know what my rights are. I didn't know this. And even with educating people on what their rights are, we need to better work with the community on showing them how to advocate. Who do I call? And if I'm fearful of doing that and speaking up, how do I do that? And we definitely help to hold their hand along the way with the help of the Minnesota Department of Labor to help show folks how to advocate for themselves and know their rights in the workplace.
Now, if someone's listening right now and they want to get involved or they want to find out more resources about the African American Babies Coalition, what can they do? How can they find out that more information? Because you put a lot on the table, and one of the key things is learning the laws and rules and regulations of what exists. But even beyond that, there's resources that are available as well. So how can one get more information?
Yes, we have some upcoming focus groups for families to participate in, and that is for them to learn a little bit more about the Women's Economic Security Act and also share their stories and what they're going through. And they can find more information about that at our Facebook page at African American Babies Coalition on Facebook. And also feel free to email me at aabcprojects@wilder.org, and I'd be more than happy to connect with you, give you more information, as well as tell you information on how you can be a part of that paid focus group that we have coming up in March. And also one more website for families who are just looking to build a personal support system during their pregnancy. You can check us out at healthyblackpregnancies.org, and that's another resource we have as well to connect folks with direct people who can help with, providing those services and supports.
And ladies and gentlemen, letting you know that I'm speaking with Angela Moore-Smith. And one last question is, what got you involved into this area, in this space? Because a lot of people got a lot of different jobs for a lot of different reasons. And so what was that said that I need to work in this space and in this area? Because it is about the youngsters and the youth.
Yes, this is my second year at Wilder African American Babies Coalition and Projects. But before coming over to AABC, I am a 12-year former early childhood teacher. So it's a passion of mine to better serve my community, be involved with folks here in the Twin Cities, and really be involved in the early childhood piece. So this allows me that chance, not in the classroom anymore, but I'm still proudly serving my community and connecting with families and helping them have better, healthier pregnancies along the way, and supporting them through the whole family work that we do here at Wilder Foundation.
No doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, young lady's name is Angela Moore-Smith. I'd like to say thank you very much for taking the time and the opportunity of enlightening the listening audience on KMOJ, okay?
Thank you so much, Q-Bear. You have a great day. Thank you, guys.
That's in the small print in the contract. It's FM 89.9 KMOJ. And ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to hear more about Little Moments Count, all you got to do is to go to littlemomentscount.org/podcast. And also you can check in at Little Moments Count at that website at littlemomentscount.org. It's FM 89.9 KMOJ, no doubt about it. It's the People's Station.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.